conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1060.
And welcome to Living in Your Purpose. I am Dr. Pat. It is a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and I hope you enjoyed the message. This evening, I'm going to have Melanated Pearls President, CEO, and Founder, Crystal Perry. Say welcome, Ms. Crystal Perry.
Hey world, it's your girl, the Melanated Pearl, bringing that black light to things that aren't quite right. It is Crystal Perry, and great to be here.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so excited and happy that you're here with me today. Just a few little fun facts about myself. I am a native of South Florida. I am from Fort Lauderdale. I hold a bachelor's in business administration, a master's in human resource management, and a DBA in business. I am the owner of Sublime Business Consulting, where we help people to actually walk in their purpose. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur or there's things that you want to do in life, we do that. We specialize in nonprofit. So that's a little bit of facts about myself. Miss Crystal, tell me about yourself.
I actually just graduated with my second master's in digital communication. So I am a lifelong educator. 20 years in education. I graduated from Agnes Scott College, all women's college in 2000, and got my master's in early childhood education from Georgia State. I am a Georgia peach, homegrown. I'm from here. I didn't flew here, as they say. But yes, been in Georgia all my life and excited to be here with you today.
Okay. Why did you decide to become an educator of all different fields? Why education?
I think education for me in my personal life has been a great equalizer. And I think it's an equalizer for others. I grew up in what I would call poverty and was the first one in my family to actually get a 4-year college degree. I've seen that has allowed me to be at different tables. You know, when college education is a requirement, a lot of people who don't have that are locked out. I've been able to work in nonprofit management and also been able to get the knowledge and skills I needed to start my own nonprofit. So education, again, even in your 40s, can be a vehicle to start something new, to live in your purpose, and to live your dreams. So the more we know, the more we grow. And so I just say as an educator, you know, even beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic, just informing yourself about things that you're passionate about is the way that we grow personally.
Oh, okay. Tell us about Melanated Pearls. What was the vision? How did you start it? Your purpose of starting it?
So Melanated Pearl stands for Passionate, Engaged, Activist, Resisting Limits. And melanated actually refers to the fact that we focus on black women, and we, of course, all have melanin in our skin. It's something that I feel directly connects us with the sun. One thing you might hear me say, when my mood is kind of down, I go out and get that direct connection. So Melanated Pearl actually just refers to what I feel is the essence of a black woman. If you know anything about how pearl is formed, you know that anything that tries to get into that shell actually is coated, and it's by taking the things that actually were trying to attack and kill it that the oyster actually takes that pressure, that negativity. Again, you feeling me?
Wow.
When all those things can be coming at you, you can actually coat them and coat them into an experience, into, you know, a field of study, a way of thinking. And that's really what I talk about when I talk about Melanated Pearl, because I think that women are the passionate, engaged activists who are resisting the limits. Anything that come to us, we take it in and actually make it better. So as a nonprofit, one of the things that we focus on, our mission is to educate, uplift, and empower women, black women in particular. Because again, I feel that black women in history have always supported everyone. When you talk about the vision, literally I feel like part of my purpose in 2018, I felt like a voice said to me specifically and related to women, it's our time and our turn. So I want to create a space for black women to grow and thrive, educate ourselves, uplift each other, and empower us to be great. And so I love you just for providing this platform for me to get the word out. But it's all about networking, again, especially
Absolutely.
during this time where we're seeing that money can, you know, create gaps. It's who you know in our community is now wrapping itself around us. So where I can find people, entrepreneurs like you talk about, other nonprofits who are doing the good work, who are focusing on, you know, local communities in Georgia and specifically black women, I try to bring them together, highlight them through events when it's safe, again. But until then, again, just figuring out how we can sew into them in this digital, you know, environment.
Wow. I'm going to go back to what you were talking about, the meaning and how you came up with melanated pearls. I mean, that kind of moved me. It moved me big time. I was like, hold on. So you mean to tell me that your nonprofit, you don't have to be this sanctimonious person that has never went through anything, but it's for that woman that has been through everything she can possibly go through and still stand?
Absolutely. I was once, I tell people, you look at me now, I just celebrated 20 years of marriage. But 20 years ago, I was 22, again, just getting married. But at 19 years old, I was pregnant in college. And I thought, you know, I had ruined my life. And it was the support of other women who said to me, one, babies are a blessing. So, you know, when these things happen to us, they're not happenstance. You know, I truly believe God will not put more on you than you can bear. But also when something happens, it's not about, you know, the thing that happened, it's your reaction to it. And so I'm looking for the women who are persevering, who, yes, they might be working 2 jobs, and, you know, some women might be considered homeless right now, but they're actually saving. They're starting, you know, the good work of making sure their children are online. Those are the stories that we need to hear right now to keep ourselves motivated. Those are the pearls that I'm talking about. Again, everything in the world almost is against, you know, black culture right now. We see in the news black men are continually being attacked in the street. Incarceration numbers are skyrocketed. All of those things impact black women specifically as we talk about mates, and those are things we're overcoming. Black women still looking for love. I still, you know, celebrate being married to my husband of 20 years, although there's some ups and downs. So like you said, those women who have a story to tell, those who have been in relationships, have their heart broken, those who are hustling, you know, doing a full-time job and making shea butter, you know, to support their family so their kids can do those dance lessons. So really, how do we take our collective genius and community and bring it together? Not in competition, but I truly believe there is room for everybody at the top. So I am looking for those pearls, those women who are passionate about what they have going on. They're engaged. And again, that engagement could be in your community, in the life of your children, in your actual work. Activism, when you see something wrong, that you say something and that you resist anything that is telling you that you cannot, because we are breaking limits. I mean, it's what we do. Yeah. As women, but especially as black women, it's what we do.
Yeah, we are strong. I mean, whatever is thrown at us, we keep rolling. We cry in secret, but then we keep rolling. That is just incredible.
And all of that is even like that crying is part of the thing. It doesn't make you weak. That release sometimes, you need that just to clear your head so you can create a path. So telling our stories helps us. One, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through. I'm not the only person who got pregnant while they were in college. But I can tell you that with perseverance and with friendships and with my community, I was able to graduate on time. So those are the stories we need to get out. Not always the negative things. We can get caught up in, oh, did you hear about this?
Right.
You know, and I'm not going to be holier than thou that I've not ever gossiped. But after the gossip, say, how can we help her? How can we help that family? And again, it's human nature that we're going to make mistakes. Own that and say, how can we support each other? So ultimately, you know, just going back to the mission of educate, uplift, empower. Educate, because everybody's backstory is not the same. Some people, even in their 40s, 30s, 50s, have not had experiences. So we have to teach each other. That uplift. If you see, you know, your sister, your brother needs a hand, lean on me. You know, go back to that. And empower, which is when you see somebody doing something well and good in the community, lift them up. Yeah. Word of mouth. Let's do what we did for each other to what we did with that Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Okay, and I still haven't tasted. I have
But
not.
you know about it, and you got you thinking,
right.
I know, because we got out and advertised whether you liked it or not. But again, if there's something, especially as we talk about entrepreneurship, I know you spoke about that. If you are working with a black entrepreneur or vendor and you have a bad experience, go and have a conversation to help that person be better. We got to start having better conversations in our community and not just spewing something negative on Facebook or, you know, Twitter. even if you don't patronize again, go back and have the conversation about what they could have done to improve customer service. So those are just little things as we are all growing, trying to, you know, monetize our talents. How can we help each other collectively and build our impact?
So true. And one thing about growth, we're continuously growing.
Always. You have to.
Always.
Have to.
I tell everybody, if you think you're grown, then you can't grow anymore. But if you're an adult, then of course you can still be used. God can still use you. You still have work to do. Oh my God.
And you can learn that you talk about education at any age.
That's true.
I still learn, you know, new things, technology, of course, but just as you travel, you talk to other people, you hear people's story of triumph, and you realize really that we can do anything if we come together. As the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, you want to go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. And so that's
right.
something, that collective impact is something we definitely want to promote.
Definitely, definitely. I want to congratulate you on your second master's degree. And also, I have some graduates in my family I need to shout out to. First of all, my nephew in San Antonio, Texas, Tiberius Manley, and my cousin Brielle right here in Smyrna.
Yes.
They have both graduated. They're seniors, so they have this is their milestone, and I am so proud of both of them. Yes.
I'll give a shout out to my son, Savon Perry, who graduated with a Bachelor of Science, Forensic Science from Piedmont College in Dearman. So to all the 2020 graduates, congratulations. And if you overcame this is literally unprecedented. No one has ever had to deal with this before. Your future is bright because you already have shown that resilience. That right now, they said you have to resist the idea that, you know, you aren't ready for the world, because you are. You've been prepared, and these kind of setbacks just really help us know how tough and strong and powerful we are. And also, you're not alone. I didn't experience that graduation, so I understand that heartbreak, but we do celebrate you. We celebrate with you. So thank you for bringing that up. Shout out to the 2020 graduates.
I know that's right. Just know in history that you will go down as the first ones to have to endure this, going through such a hard, terrible situation. I mean, this is something.
Never thought
to endure, and the sky's the limit, and you will soar.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So tell me, what are 2 initiatives that you've already taken with Melanated Pearl?
So one that we actually started the campaign was a transmedia initiative called hashtag 1 in 13 Georgia Justice. If you hashtag 1 in 13, you probably will get some of my research. In 2018, it was glaring to me that we have a problem, of course, with our prison industrial complex. I will just tell a personal story. My brothers, who I'm the oldest, but my brothers were literally arrested 5 days within each other for different things. One was a violation of probation. One, again, was a justified arrest. The point being that they were immediately helping and then they were gone. And so one of the things that it helped me to look at as I tell the story of We're Not Alone, when I started doing research, I realized that in the state of Georgia, and you can look this up, 1 out of 13 adults over the age of 18, men and women combined, if you eliminate race, is in jail, on parole, or involved with the prison industrial complex in some shape, form, or fashion. So really think about that. If you literally meet 13 people in a day, 1 of them is almost guaranteed to either be on, if they're not, again, prison, we don't have that population out above among us, but on parole of some kind that they have a direct connection. That then let me think about what I call a black tax. And when I talk about black females, we know right now in Georgia, #1 group that is incarcerated is black men. Those black men have mothers, they have daughters, they have aunts, they have sisters, and we are, and I say we are because I'm a sister who puts money on books, because hygiene products, food, we have to actually care for those persons who are incarcerated, even though, they cost us amount per head. And at some point, we have to start looking at the privatization of prisons and what is that actually doing in our community. So one of the initiatives was the 1 in 13 Georgia Justice, just really highlighting, as we talk about educating, the number of people who are involved with the prison industrial complex. I'll make that number even more important to those who are black, it's 1 in 7.
Wow.
So again, if you look at my family, it became real. Out of my mother's children, 2/3 are involved. So it was something. And the second was the N for 10 Bridge Fund, where we want to build a bridge for those who might be having financial difficulty.
Before you go into that,
Okay.
we got to pay some bills.
Hey, yes.
So we're going to take a break real quick, and then she'll be returning talking about the next initiative.
Perfect.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
Hi, I'm Harry Lennox, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Hi.
Thank you and welcome back to Living in Your Purpose. I am Dr. Pat. So we were speaking with Miss Crystal Perry, and she was telling us about the initiatives that she's doing with Melanated Pearl. So go ahead on, Miss Crystal.
So our second initiative, which actually launched in October of 2019, came through a persuasive writing campaign. I was actually challenged to see how I could persuade people to give. And so specifically, I thought about the poverty line. Right now in Georgia, a family of 4 making $2,000 a month is considered, you have to make less than $2,000 a month if you're an adult with 4 children to be considered living in poverty. My research says that one adult with 2 children needs $5,000 a month to live comfortably. I've had the experience, I know other people have, of having more month than money. And so we build what we call a bridge fund, and I labeled it I'm in for 10 with the idea that you can contribute a little and help someone a lot. So the I'm in for 10, you can contribute via PayPal or Cash App. And we ask that even if you can't make a monetary contribution, that you help promote by taking a picture of yourself with $10, tagging Melanated Pearl, and hashtag I'm in for 10. If you even go to Google now, hashtag I'm in for 10, you can see other people who've actually contributed. If you want to benefit, and again, this is not a loan, it's a grant. Melanated Pearl is a nonprofit. We are investing in those in our community. And if you send a direct message to melanatedpearl@gmail.com, just telling us about why you would need a bridge, we will help pay a bill up to $250. So in order for you to be in, you have to contribute $10. So you have to at least have $10 in to win. And again, it's on a first come, first served basis. But right now, we do have some funding available. One of the things that really excited me about this, as I said, the initiative started October 2019, was that my initial goal was to try to get just $1,000 by, reaching out to 100 women. I went on social media and we were able to hit our goal before Christmas with 65 donations. So one, it just warmed my heart to know that women, and we did have some men and people who were white allies who contributed. So it don't feel like, if you support black women in our work, you can definitely be a contributor. But through 65 contributors, we were able to hit that $1,000 goal. We now have over $1,000 again and continue to take in those in for 10 donations. And again, you can do that on PayPal or Cash App. $ Melanated Pearl Corp, and you can always hashtag I'm in for 10. So that's another initiative that we're doing right now to help support the community. We want to pour back into those who poured so much into me.
Wow, that is incredible. Now, I know you speak of empowering Black women, but can a pearl be a man? Also?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because those, again, passionate, engaged, activists, resisting limits. When you really think about melanated pearl, I specifically, as a Black woman, I speak from that and I seek that out because a lot of my experiences, again, I'm a Black woman. But I also am a Black woman who has been supported by Black men. I grew up with my father. I have my husband of 20 years. I have 2 sons, and I have 2 brothers. So absolutely, pearls are those Black men every day who are out here, who are passionate, raising their families, supporting their wives. Some of us are vocal. Shout out to Craig Perry for keeping it, the support. You know, we need our Black males to have our back. We also need them to be activists. When things happen with what happened down in Brunswick, Georgia, we need to all get together. And I would hope that as we continue to grow, that all of the pearls across, we'll be able to collectively come together to be the voice when we see injustice. And again, because men every day are out here resisting limits. So I love that question. Because again, the way I tell Black men to support Black women, not to be in competition, there is room at the top for all of us.
Yes.
All of this, again, I don't want to get into just history, but my undergrad was Africana Studies. So many things we have been taught that are not necessarily innate, going back to us really getting to that melanin part of us. We are a collective people. One of the things I always say, if you go to your neighborhood, you're going to see Black men at the corner store. For whatever reason that they're there, they need to gather.
Absolutely.
They need each other. We need each other. You know, this
Yes.
quarantine thing is so hard for us because as much as, you know, we fuss and fight, we need to lay eyes on each other. We need to know that the other person is all right.
okay.
And so I love the idea, yes, men can be pearls. Please support your Black women, women in general. And if you want to actively build a community of pearls who are men, I'm for that in 2020, 2021. I love that idea.
Okay. I like that. So I guess that goes with the next question. I was going to ask you, where do you see melanated pearls in 5 years? So that's one thing I guess we can see in 5 years, right?
Absolutely. I mean, also, I think somebody talked to me about even memberships. You know, when I initially thought about this, I just really wanted to be a virtual venue for people to find Black women. We were doing a Pearl Girl of the Month. And then as 2020 rolled in, we actually had, you know, one event before everything got shut down. So the idea of creating a space for entrepreneurs as well. Because what I found is that people will support Black female entrepreneurship. They won't always do the research. And so if I can actually find those Black females who are local Georgians and even outside of Georgia, because great products are great products, we can learn from each other, and actually bring the community to them. And once we know those products are in the homes, I believe that a quality product, people will go back to those vendors. And that is the way we start investing in our community and circulating Black dollars in the Black community. Because we need to think about, it takes right now, I think 15 transactions before our dollar comes back to our community. Wow. In other communities, that's down to 3, 4 transactions and the money's back in their community. So I am trying to be a collective part of that. And I will say, Killer Mike's Netflix special, shout out to Killer Mike, he did in 2018, where he, I think, went a month trying to do, you know, all Black everything. And so one, I was just shocked at how difficult it was. And then I personally have started actively seeing how I can make sure that my money goes directly into the community which serves me. And I would say outside of a grocery store and gas, and I'm even now going into farmers markets, we have Black people who are out here creating everything.
Yes.
And this is where I want to, you know, Black women are leading that.
Yes, they are.
And so I just want to highlight those women who might be in the back because they're doing the work and pull them to the forefront.
Absolutely. I think that was the reason I started Sublime Business, because I teach young people, okay, God has given you a talent. Yep. You have a talent, so it's up to you to use that talent because it will make room for you. So therefore, if you can braid some hair,
Braid the hair.
Girl, get your EIN. Start your business. Get your business banking account. Have a room in your house, apartment, and use it for the sole purposes of braiding hair.
Yep.
And find out, you know, how much you need to make daily, how many heads that is daily, and go from there. And then start ordering the hair yourself. Have your own hairline so you can include that hair and include that money. If you can do nails, start it in that room. Your talents will make room for you, but
I mean, and absolutely it's true. The other thing is that it's a myth that black people don't have money. You know, when we look, there is inequity in pay. You know, black women are still making 63 cents to the dollar compared to white men. But when we collectively put that money together, I want to also say in 2013, black women spent $1 trillion on hair. I was one of them.
Me too.
I mean, hey. So even during this, and you know, people can go on either side, but people are investing in their beauty, their health, and their beauty, and their self-care.
Yes.
Even as we immediately want to get out. So, like you said, if you have a talent, if there's something that you create, a product, put it out here in the world. Somebody is looking for you. One of the things I tell people, I have Adidas, I have some Nikes, I have some Reeboks, I have some high heels. Guess what? Because they're all shoes, and depending on where I'm going and what the vibe, I need different shoes.
Right.
I have shea butter that's plain. I have some shea butter that, you know, got some exfoliant, a scrub.
Yeah.
All of these things are moisturizers for our skin. You know, and then you can also learn how to improve your products if you start having conversations. It does not always have to be this negative, combative, you know, we're going to crabs in the barrel and stab each other in the back. And the way, again, with Melanated Pearl, the birth of it is that I want to model that in my own life. So it's one of those things I want to not only talk the talk, but I want to walk the walk.
Absolutely. I definitely... I'm going to support you because I think your organization is great. The story has to be told. Sometimes life has beat people down so bad, they need something like this to uplift them and to remind them, hey, you're not who your circumstances is.
Yep.
You're not what you've been through. So rise above it. Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Well, I talk about purpose. That is my thing. Not just walking in your purpose, because you can walk in a purpose and not live in that purpose, because you have to practice what you preach. So let's talk about purpose for a moment. We know that purpose is the very essence of why God made us. Purpose became very deep to me when I read Pastor Rick Warren's book, Purpose Driven Life. And I can never forget that book. I was actually in college, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? At first, I wanted to be an attorney. I did the legal field. So I'm like, is that really what I want to do? So, you know, purpose is funny. I was just asked by a young person, they want to go to college. And they have no idea what they want to do, what they want to be. So I'm like, you know what? For every young person, I suggest you just go ahead and get a degree in liberal studies. So you can say you have
liberal
a degree.
Arts, yes, going to be well-rounded.
Yeah, to be well-rounded. And then as you're growing and you're learning about purpose and you're learning who you are. So tell me about purpose to you.
I think just what you said, every day I want to get up and I want to make life count. So I'm a person, again, that deals with anxiety and depression. Some of it is a result of trauma from my childhood. Some of it is because I overtask myself, doing too much. But
I understand.
Every day wanting to feel happy, model happiness, but really, as you talk about purpose, celebrate the greatness that I feel is black women. Historically, as I said, it was part of my undergrad degree. I really did a lot of research on just how people in poverty and during hard times, how people survived and thrived. And what I found is that in all those stories there were black women, but black women aren't the people who those stories were talked about.
No.
I don't know if even people saw the Daughters of, that Girl Trek just had, the King and Shabazz, Malcolm and Martin's daughters, and they talked about, You know, we always do this comparison rather than just looking at all the good and saying, oh, I like this because I can use this and I can use that. So like my purpose every day is to truly, you know, make the most out of life and hopefully inspire others to make the most out of their life, because like you said, each of us was burdened, I say burdened, with the blessing of purpose. You have a reason to be here. If you don't know what it is, that's the burden. You need to figure it out. Some of us know what it is, so every day if you're feeling like something pulling at you, get busy to your purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's time to pay some more bills.
Yes.
So we're going to take a small break.
Are you an artist, a writer of spoken word? Do you have content ready but need exposure? Get to know me. I'm Alicia, host of a new Facebook live stream show called The Flavor, where we promote local and international talent of all genres. Here are some rules and regulations to the videos that we'll be accepting. They must be radio ready, no cursing, no lewd language. You must send us contact information as well as a YouTube link to your video so we can extract it from there. Email us at 1061tv@gmail.com. And we thank you for your time.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
Welcome back to Living in Your Purpose. I am Dr. Pat. Once again, we're here with none other than Miss Crystal Perry.
Hey.
We're Melanated Pearls, and we're just discussing purpose. But I want to know, how do you balance work, life, and the responsibilities of running a nonprofit?
So I will say it is, you know, difficult. As I just said, sometimes I definitely bite off more than I can chew. I am blessed in that, as I said, I've been married for 20 years, so I have a partner in crime. And my children are 22 years old. So a lot of the hard work is done as far as getting them through school. But I am the mother of a black male on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
So making sure that he's actively contributing to his community, that his rights are not violated is something that is of great concern to me. Making sure, you know, to plan dates. If people follow me on Facebook, you know, we just did an intimate date in the yard. So we're going to have some romance in our house. So creating, as I said, that self-care. But a big part of what I do to really balance is giving back. I find purpose and energy in being solutions driven. You know, my husband and I had a baseball team for 7 years, so working in the community, staying active, walking is something that is new. You know, getting out in the sun, as I said, believe it or not, going barefoot right now in the grass. I'm telling you, just getting back to those things that, remember when you were a kid, when you get your feet like, those are the kind of things I do to ground myself, to find balance, because every day is kind of up and down. And I have to remember that even when I've had an attack recently, that somebody taught them that, to remain positive on purpose. And that when you're doing the good work, you know, God's good work, the devil is busy. So, you know, the haters come first and then come the blessings. So it's, you know, that positive thinking. I do a lot of visual affirmations. So if you come around my house, there's a lot of you can do it. She thought she could. So I believe in, you know, getting your mind ready to actually do the work. So that's kind of how I try to create balance. And then I have a great group of friends who support me. You know, I'm a graduate of Agnes Scott. We talked about the Black Ring Mafia. But I do have women in my life who just call in and check on me and say, girl, I see you out here, you're doing too much. So check on your friends, but balance is so important, and it really starts with just knowing, you know, what calms you, like I said, going outside, and what's important to you. So staying focused on my purpose helps keep me balanced. And the people in my life who I love support that purpose, so I don't have that conflict there.
Well, let me ask you this. With having a son that has been labeled autistic, how do you, with everything that you have going on and doing, how can I say this, consistently make sure that they're not labeling him or putting labels on him in his life that's going to follow him forever?
So I would say it started actually, and people who know me have probably heard me say this story. So when my son was 3, we did the special needs pre-K. I originally thought he was deaf because he wasn't responding. We found out, you know, at first they wouldn't give us any label. It was just developmentally delayed. And then because he was having so many outbursts, I was in school, it was a struggle. We went a medication route. And I watched my child turn into a zombie. And so I say that to parents because we have to forgive ourselves, because even now I get emotional. It was hard, but I was at my wit's end as far as trying to control those behaviors. The school calling, trying to work. So for those parents with special needs children, I hear you, I feel you, I know what you're going through, keep going. But one day on a Saturday, my 6-year-old son came to me and said, I don't want to take these pills anymore.
Oh, wow.
And I had the good sense to actually sit him down at a table and ask follow-up questions. You know, do you know why you take the pills? And that was the first part, because I trusted him, and we actually talked about, well, that means you have to go and sit down. And we start timing, like to sit for a certain amount of time, because the thing that we agreed on is that he didn't want to take the pills. And so not that it was a threat, but when I would get a call, I'd be like, you know, I would say his name and say, if you can't do this, then we have to go back. When he then got into the 5th grade, we had an aide. So I say that because ask for advocacy for your children.
Yes.
If your child's on the special needs spectrum, that school needs to provide the least restrictive environment. Get in touch with me if you need more information there. But in the 5th grade, they actually gave him what was para, and we loved it. But because he writes kind of slow, the woman started writing on his paper to get the notes down. And the report back to me was, he's shut down, he's not doing any work. Again, had a conversation. He said to me, if she's writing on my paper, it's not my work, it's her work.
Oh.
See? So I could have went, why you not doing your work? You know, the teacher said, but I stopped and I asked the question. I say that because I've learned so much being his mother, because we're trying to protect our children, but we never stop to ask them. They should be a part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
And so because when he was 6, I trusted him. And when he was in the 5th grade, I trusted him. Now that he's 22, and he actually called me on the way over here asking about buying stuff online. When he turned 18, we opened a bank account.
Okay.
When he started doing his own grocery shopping, I used to follow him. And then it became, okay, I'm going to sit in the car. And so I basically built out building blocks to make him as independent as, you know, possibly that he can be. He has his own Netflix and Hulu, and, you know, I try to keep up with what he's watching. And again, being available to have those conversations, even at 22, because he's told me that he's not giving me any grandchildren. But so even those kind of conversations, you know, and that he has the right, you know, to think like that. One of the things that's important, he's a germaphobe. He does not like to be touched, and this was before coronavirus. And one of the things people used to, you know, say to me is, well, you're going to have to work with him on that. No, you don't. You have to ask people's consent. And
Absolutely.
As a woman, and this was a conversation that was easy for women, but I think sometimes for men, you know, we hit and this and yeah. Everybody has to give consent for you to touch their person. Anything else is assault. And so actually honoring that in our home and preparing him to say, you know, don't touch me, to actually remove himself, and how to call for help if he's uncomfortable. So I will say it keeps me up at night. sharing my child with the world. But I am also blessed that he has a twin brother who, has always been there as a model of, and I say normal because expectations of what the society wants from you. So he's always had that counterpart, and I'm just kind of thankful that, those kind of best friends were built in there, born with your best friend.
Really?
And so I was blessed in that, but definitely having real conversations with him, even at a young age. And so as an educator, I have to just go back to trust your kids. Parents, if you tell kids to be honest with you and they're not going to get in trouble, when they're honest with you, they can't get in trouble.
Right.
I mean, because you're breaking trust. So even going back to that purpose, really helping people to make the connections, heal trauma, and have powerful conversations with their children or loved ones, so that we can all get to the top. I'm talking with my hands.
I love that. I really
Yes.
love that. Wow. So what's unique about the service you provide and about your nonprofit?
So one thing I think that makes it unique is that I say Black women. I think a lot of times, and I've gotten flack with people like, I really want to focus in and provide a platform that really is unique and serves Black women. Other thing is that I don't create anything but a space for Black women to thrive. Right now, I don't take a salary as a nonprofit. I continue to work, to contribute to my family. And all the profits that we do get, we are directly putting them back into the community through female entrepreneurship. One of the things we were able to just do for Mother's Day was a self-care kit, where we reached out to 6 Black female entrepreneurs in the Georgia area to actually make some customized Melanated Pearl products and some beauty products for our moms. And we had Super Mom t-shirts made, and then we actually went and delivered packages just to celebrate moms. And it was just so wonderfully motivating. One, because someone called me and said, "You're literally putting food on my table." Because as you know, with the way that some of these small business loans have filtered out, a lot of small and minority businesses have been locked out. So it's a small contribution, but it was a contribution. And the thing that makes us unique is that we are fluid. Educate, uplift, and empower. We started out with financial literacy. We talked about incarceration. All of these things impact Black women. So we haven't boxed ourselves in anything. So as we continue to grow, as the needs of Black women grow in society, if specific issues of activism come out, we can position ourselves to support.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. Do women in your profession have a hard time getting promoted? Tell me about that.
So if I had to say, my profession is education, ultimately. So I would say, of course. How are all the teachers women and all the principals men? Now, we again see things a little bit differently in the metro Atlanta area, in that you see an increase in Black African Americans in leadership positions, and you might see more females. But just globally in the education profession, it's always blown my mind how classrooms, teachers are almost always portrayed as women. And then leaders, superintendents, and principals are always portrayed as men. So it's one of those things, and I've been an assistant principal of a middle school. I've had some levels of that administration, and leadership, but I do think ultimately still in education there's work to do. And there's something about the idea that women can't lead, but it's false. Women lead homes every day. Again, if you are a classroom teacher, you are leading that classroom. And so we just need to take that leadership on a larger scale. But that's definitely one of the things I think you see more female-led administrators here, but it's something definitely we can work on in the education profession as a whole.
I have a question. As a leader in the community, and we have so many outstanding female leaders, why is it we haven't had a female president yet? Do you think it's because we're too emotional to run a country? Are we too emotional and we get into our own feelings that we can't run a country?
Oh, so I'm trying to think of the politically correct answer. I don't want them to shut us down. I do not think that we are too emotional. I mean, I think if we stopped and look at the leadership that we have now in our White House, I mean, if that ain't overly emotional, I don't know what is. I think there's a myth that because you have feelings, you can't make hard decisions. But I think, again, if we look at coronavirus right now, the countries that have had the dip and who have dealt with it the best, had the least amount of death, all women-led.
True.
So it starts to think, why do we think that way in America? We're in a patriarchal society where men are lifted and valued more than women. It's something that we need to work on in America, and I don't think there's any reason that women can't be in leadership positions. If you even go back to slavery, who ran the big house? It was a black woman who you ran that kitchen.
Oh, yes.
Who ran, again, we forget those things. Again, we look at her position, but there was power in that position. We've already got the CEO executive skills. I'm sure you've budgeted. You've had to look at your bills, your month, your money,
yes.
and you've had to make some hard cuts. That is a business acumen right there. Looking at, how to multiply, right now, not be wasteful. All of those things that happen in our homes, but also happen in management. Actually makes me think about a time back when I was in college. I was running for treasurer, and somebody brought up that idea that women aren't good with money. And I was, again, working a job, on a scholarship, trying to figure it out, and about to have 2 children. I was like, if anybody understands how to budget, it is a woman who is in financial strain. So there's innovation in women, and we have to trust women to actually lead us.
Wow. Well, we're going to end right now. Got to pay some bills.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Chief Gary Sparks with the Douglasville Police Department. Today we want to give you some safety tips concerning traffic stops. Take a look.
So you look in your rearview mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. Yield to the right and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? Do you have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you,
Thank
too.
you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Welcome back to Living in Your Purpose. I am Dr. Pat. We're still here with Miss Crystal Perry from Melanated Pearls. I'm loving the conversation. I'm loving the information that she is giving. But I want to know, as a female leader, what has been the most significant barrier that you've had to deal with in your career?
Unfortunately, it has been the notion that that women can't work together. There's always been either, I'll give an example of, I actually moved to Boston and had a woman who had my resume and told me that we were the same age and therefore my life could not be true. And I just kind of was taken aback and, you know, had to say for a moment, well, actually it's all true. Because, yeah, I had the kids at 19, and I graduated on time. And then I continued my education to get a master's degree. And those children went into school. And, you know, I married the father, man that was the father, and have actually been very successful in my path. So I think, like I said, breaking down stereotypes, having difficult conversations, and really forgiving other women who may have, through their experience, their trauma, been taught that the only way that they could get to the top is to, you know, backbite or say negative things, or put barriers in place. So that's kind of been, I would say, one of the biggest things. And of course, people underestimating me. I've been told I'm pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I'm pretty for a Southerner. And I would say, you know, if you look up pretty in the dictionary, if they got pictures, hey. You know, your program is probably in there. But, you know, the idea that people underestimate, and I think that's something, you know, all women deal with. And our ultimate goal is to go out here and prove that, you know, we're purposeful, we're powerful, and that we belong.
Crystal, what path did you take to get to where you are today?
Well, I will say, oh, yes. What they say, a good thing I don't look like what I've been through.
Okay.
Because I am the oldest girl of my parents, and I grew up during the crack epidemic, so I won't, you know, hide that. Both my parents struggled with drug addiction, and so I learned early what the worst could look like. I learned to look for the helpers. You hear people say that because there are always people willing to help, but I also learned resilience and perseverance. It's a bad day, not a bad life.
Right.
It's a bad day. It's not a bad life. And everything that you're going through right now, you've already overcome that thing that you already thought was going to kill you. So I have to remind myself, remember when you were crying in the bathroom 2 years ago about how you weren't going to be able to get past that? Look at you now. And that wasn't as, you know, that was bigger in your mind than this. So creating this path of purpose is everyday mental work. As I said, visuals, actually saying to myself, I'm meaningful, the work that I'm doing is meaningful, feeding that into others. Black women, you are important, you matter on this earth, in your homes, you have a purpose in your community, and actually just, you know, making that come to life as much as possible. Like, that's the path. I was blessed to go to an all-women's college, as I said, and at that college studied Africana Studies, which really gave me a love of my heritage. And then I was able to get my master's in education, where I was directly able to feed back into children in my community. I chose to work in Atlanta Public Schools in some of the most high-risk schools because those children were me. I wanted to look at them and say, regardless of what's going on at your home, you'll be okay. You can get through it. And now I can say, I'm very excited to say, my first class, my fourth graders from 2000, those kids are in their 30s. And actually, one of them called me out probably way before this pandemic, I want to say September, Ms. Perry, and literally was saying, I remember growing a plant in your classroom. So I know that the educational experiences, I know if we just pause and pour into our children and pour into their mothers, pour into each other, that it will make a positive difference.
Wow.
I got to believe it.
Well said, well spoke. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, is there a PhD?
I told somebody,
what are we going to do?
If I say I want to take a pottery class, pop my hand. But that is because I just graduated. I would not say necessarily a PhD, but I am a forever learner. I love to use my hands. Gardening is something that I've been thinking about, want to definitely see I can support a community garden. Right now, I'm also the chair of Peace Academy Charter, looking to open in 2021. So if you're looking for a school choice option, there's an Afrocentric curriculum, Kamali curriculum, and is aligned, because we really need to now start feeding our children their history. And it did not start with slavery. So again, anything that I can do to uplift myself, the people in my community, that is, what I'm trying to do.
Okay, and when we say peace, are we talking about the 5 power structures, or are we talking about PEACE?
PEACE, Promoting Education and Culture Empowerment, is what PEACE stands for, and it's Peace Academy Charter School if you want to look it up. We're taking intents to enroll and also looking for additional board members. Volunteerism, if I can just make this plug. If you're at home right now thinking about what can I do, feeling bad, as I said, I suffer from anxiety and depression. The greatest way that you can make yourself feel better is to do service to others. I think Martin Luther King spoke about we can all do something. If it's only calling somebody up who is doing good work, to say good work, and just take a moment for yourself. So volunteer. I am, on that board. If you're looking for work, reach out to your school to see what you could do. Charter school boards are in need of volunteerism. If you want to support any of the initiatives at Melanated Pearl, we're going to be forming some committees in 2020. So again, think about how you can use your talents to support yourself, but also the people in your community. I love to say that my network is my net worth, because I'm rich.
Okay.
So I might not have the money, but I know somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
And sometimes that means more than just being able to pay something really quick.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Melanated Pearls is here in Georgia.
Yes.
Do you see yourself going regional, global, internationally? Where do you see Melanated Pearls, I'll say, in the next 7 years?
So we actually had an international trip. One of the things that was on my bucket list in July 2019, and I actually before Corona was hoping to go in December of this year, I was able to go to Ghana. And it really just re-solidified my idea of community. I saw a woman who had fish trade to another woman who had cloth. I saw a little boy walking around saying basically that he was hungry, and a woman feeding her child and calling him over and fed him. It was such a sense of community there that I know that is in us. So when you say like what with Melanated Pearl, we don't have any limits. I think we're going to grow to be what the community needs. We're going to always have an educational component, as I said. We're going to always strive to uplift, and anyone who is doing something that is about collective empowerment, we want to promote them. So I don't know if I answered the question. I might have got a little off track.
You did. Well, let me ask you this. Well, not ask, but I want you to tell the viewers how they can find you, your hours of operation. Just tell them everything they need to know to reach out to you or to get assistance, whatever.
So the first thing you can do if you have your phone is text 888-111. And you're going to text the word Pearl Girl, all caps or all lowercase is one word, Pearl Girl, P-E-A-R-L, girl, to 888-111. When you do that, you'll get a text message back that will connect you to all of my social media as well as Cash App. So you can follow me on Instagram at melanated_pearl. You can follow me on Facebook at Black Girl Pearls. If you hashtag Melanated Pearl, I'd love to say I come right on up in Google because the name is unique. And again, it is Melanated, M-E-L-A-N-A-T-E-D. Melanated. Pearl. So you can find us on all social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And again, that is Pearl Girl to 888-111.
Guys, please reach out. Reach out, sow a seed. You may know someone that needs assistance, or someone you may have been in a situation yourself and you needed assistance. So volunteer, reach out, promote, give. I can't even say it enough. Next week, I will have the pleasure of having my friend, Miss Charmaine Bradbury.
I love Charmaine.
She is an awesome author. She wrote a book called Honey Wash Your Face. The sister is deep. She's doing a lot. And one thing about this show, it is to empower women that are doing great things. They're making a difference, and they didn't hold what they were going through and let that hinder them to do anything. They just kept on pressing on. Okay, you knocked me down, I got back up, and I'm pressing on because I know my purpose. I know where I'm going. So don't miss every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. right here. And I'm going to let Miss Crystal Perry just lead us out.
So thank you so much for having me. Again, I will say, hey world, it's your girl, the Melanated Pearl, bringing that black light to things that aren't quite right. You know what a black light does? It exposes everything. So don't forget to educate, uplift, and empower yourself, but especially somebody else. Thank you so much for having me.
Conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.